100 days into his second term as US President, Donald Trump has already had South Africa in his crosshairs. He's expelled the ambassador, cut off aid and threatened to boycott this year's G20 Leaders Summit being held in Johannesburg, all while giving a South African unfettered access to the federal government. Let's now bring in SABC News correspondent Kate Fisher live for us in Washington, D.C. Kate, a very good afternoon to you. I mean, it has been an interesting 100 days for the Trump administration, to say the least, from executive orders to tariff wars. One headline, in fact, read, promises made, promises kept. What has been the general consensus then around the Trump administration 100 days into his second term?
Well, I think one thing you'll find both sides of the political aisle agreeing on is that this has been one of the most consequential first 100 days of any US presidency. Not everybody agrees with what has happened. In fact, poll numbers suggest that most Americans do not like the way Donald Trump has behaved in the first 100 days. Amongst his hardcore supporters, they are still supportive of him and what he's done. But around the edges, perhaps those voters who are naturally Republican but weren't so keen on Trump are now beginning to say in the polls, you know, we don't like how far you've gone with these government cuts. We don't like the way you're tariffing our allies as well as our adversaries around the world with these huge tariff cuts. We're concerned with these huge tariff rises. We're concerned about inflation. And so his approval numbers when it comes to the economy have dropped. His overall approval numbers have dropped as well. So I think that has definitely had an impact on many American voters. But his hardcore group, the people who will support him through thick and thin, they are really pleased with what he's done. They have wanted to see these kind of huge cuts to the federal government, these tariffs, for a long time. And he went to Michigan, to Detroit yesterday to celebrate his 100 days. That's the heart of American manufacturing, to kind of really push back that message that he's trying to help those American workers, those Americans who feel they've been left behind by globalization, who feel that factories have been closing. And he says that these quite extreme policies are needed in order to restore that manufacturing and that growth and that economic prosperity to the US.
Let's look at geopolitically now. You know, South Africa, of course, has not been spared from Trump's executive orders, as we've been saying, and aid cuts, in fact. But he did, in the 100 days, make a call to President Cyril Ramaphosa recently, in fact, aligned to that trip of President Zelensky, his working visit here in South Africa. Give us a sense from a geopolitical perspective, especially when you look at his engagements with Europe, China, Canada, and Mexico, to name a few.
Yeah, geopolitically, things have completely changed. This has been a complete change in US policy, US foreign policy, from anything we know in recent history. Donald Trump has upended alliances. He has talked about kind of leaving Europe on its own. He has made good phone calls with Vladimir Putin of Russia. He suggested that he wants to take over Gaza. These are all huge changes geopolitically. And of course, the relationship with South Africa has hit the rockiest in recent memory. Things are really bad between the two countries, and that is a change as well. The US under President Biden, things were much more friendly. So yes, he has taken huge changes in foreign policy, and he has said he wants to reshape the global order. He's also talked about, you know, his own territorial ambitions, wanting to take over Greenland, make Canada the 51st state. This has upended those really close alliances with neighbors like Canada, but also alliances with European countries who have been so close to the US ever since the end of the Second World War. So yeah, this 100 days, as he has said himself, has completely changed America's position in the world and the way America deals with the rest of the world.
All right, Kate, thank you so much for that update. Let's leave it there for now. That is our SABC News correspondent, Kate Fisher, live for us there in Washington, D.C.